Hello again, everybody. This is Rocket Rick J18, and today is January 1st, 2024. Only a little less than 7 months until the National. I'd point that out in case you didn't already know. Anyway, I closed out the year, uh, which is my first year on YouTube. It won't be my anniversary's in February. I've forgotten the exact date, but I'll look it up. Um, and I have so I closed out the year with 254 subscribers. I don't pay a lot of attention to that, but I do pay some attention to it, only because it's some kind of affirmation that at least a few people out there watched a couple of these videos, so which I'm happy for. I tell my wife that I said, I really make these for myself because I like talking about uh, uh, baseball and baseball cards, and I like listening to other people talk about it. And I don't really have any friends in my community um, that I can do that with. So, uh, in any case, it falls to anybody who listens to this message to sort out whether or not that's a good thing, but at least it keeps me coming back. Um, if I pass 300 subs this year, I'm going to do a simple contest and a celebration of that milestone. Um, I hope to have some interesting cards to share this year. My biggest goal is to get at least one uh, big boy card, and that's going to be of a uh, Hall of Famer, pre-war Hall of Famer. I think I will continue to get some cards to complete the sets that I'm working on, which are in no particular order. 1964 Topps Stand Up. I'm working on that, and I'm down to 9 cards. 1952 Topps, which I just am right at the halfway point. The 1962 Topps Super Set, I guess it's what it's called, and that would contain um, all of the error cards or variations, if you want to call them that, and all of the green tint variations, um, of which there are quite a few. And I have some, but not nearly all of them. The biggest card in that set is probably the Alk line, biggest star. Although the Ruth subset is in that series. They all come from the second series, and so that's then I have a couple of other sets that I'm working on. 1940 Play Ball, 1935 Rowdy, and 1934 to 36 Diamond Stars. I think they're all in process. I may add one or two sets. I've been thinking on and off about the 55 Tops doubleheader set, or the Callahan Hall of Famers. I mean, just they would be unusual sets. I don't think that I'm going to try to collect all of the Burke Ross cards. Although I will try to get a few more of those. Particularly of interest to me would be the two Joe DiMaggio cards and the Mickey Mantle card. Um, Unlikely that I would get all of that this year. That's a lot of money, but anyway, I'll work on those. I'll continue to work on those, and I hope to complete at least one of them this year. So, wish me luck on that. Uh, I think that I'm looking forward with great anticipation to the Strongsville, Ohio card show, which is a vintage card show up in the Cleveland area. Of course, the National, which is in Cleveland this year. I'm looking forward to a few other shows. I think I will go to the East Coast National, as it's been known, in White Plains, New York, in August. I will probably go to one of the Philly shows. Um, I might go to the December one just to get something out that way. Um, I would like to go to a Chantilly show, maybe not this year, but uh, maybe next year. I probably, well, I'm not say probably, I'm thinking about going to the Pittsburgh show, which is in, geez, I don't know, April or May. I've forgotten what, May, I think. Um, so that's what I have in mind. Uh, I think that it's good to have goals. It's good to have targets. The pre-war big boy card that I'm thinking of is one of the Cobb T206 cards. That's what I'm going to look for at the National. I've been looking on eBay. The cards that I consider to be affordable by me are, which are not the expensive ones, all look, well, frankly, they look terrible. And maybe that's what I'm going to have to settle for. But I'm hoping at the National there'll be at least one dealer there with some Ty Cobb cards that wants to move some, or move at least one of them. And I'm happy with an authentic grade or a pour, as long as it doesn't have his eyes gouged out, or a big crease right down the middle of his face, or any of those things that we find offensive. Not super picky about corners. I don't care too much about centering, although I don't like miscut cards as a rule. And that's just that's where we are on that. I mean, at a autograph collecting. So I think it was Lou Rock doing a card showing a lot of autographs and talking about his Hall of Fame autograph collection, which is spectacular, wonderful. And he about, well, I don't really collect autographs per se, and um, baseballs are really the only things that I have truly sought out, with the exception of Mickey Mantle. I do collect Mickey Mantle autographs because I'll collect anything that Mickey Mantle's had any connection with. Uh, and But I found that I actually have 33 Hall of Fame autographs, which isn't bad for not collecting Hall of Fame autographs, I think. And I got some pretty good ones. I've done a video that showed some of the autographs that I had earlier in the year on uh, bats, and I have a couple of those, and on some photographs. So I just walked around and took with my iPhone and, you know, made probably a very poor video at that. Anyway, that's what I'm going to do. Look at that. I have 5 Who's Who magazines left that I can find. I think I have a couple more in stores somewhere. These are 4 from the early 60s, 1960 to 1963, and 1 from 2013. Um, let's take a look at those, and I'm just going to point the camera down on the. And my goodness, oh, that's the wrong. I got the wrong view. There we go. That looks better. Hopefully, I can edit this out. Although the last video that I did, I had some trouble with editing, mainly because it's not a very good editor. So the first one that we're going to look at is the 1960 Who's Who, and it has Don Drysdale on the front cover. It is the 45th edition, and the purchase cover price was 50 cents. And on the inside front cover is Harvey Keene, who was the American League batting champion in 1959. On the back cover is Nellie Fox, the most valuable player in the American League in 1959. And Hank Aaron, the National League batting champion in 1959. Oddly enough, the most valuable player in the National League in 1959, Ernie Banks, doesn't have a photograph in this annual. Let's look at Don Drysdale and see if we can figure out why his picture's on the front. What great feat did he accomplish in 1959? It was his second year in the well, that's not in Los Angeles. It was his 4th year overall. His first year, he appeared in 28 games. I'm sorry, first year was 1956. He appeared in 23 games, or 23 or 25. I can't. Print's too small. In Brooklyn, his record was 5-3. The next year, which is considered to be his rookie year, he was 17-9 as rookie year for baseball card. He didn't have a 56 card, does have 57. And that's his only card while in Brooklyn. So in 1959, it says his record was 17-13. He struck out 242 batters, which led the National League. He appeared in 1 game in the 1959 World Series. He won that game, pitched 7 innings, and his earned run average was 1.29. So that's pretty good. So that's it's possible that he was a Cy Young Award winner, although it doesn't say that. Um, so that's the 1960 edition. Obviously, the Dodgers won the World Series in 1959, defeating the Chicago White Sox. So here's the 1961 Who's Who, and it features on the front cover most American League Most Valuable Player Roger Maris, who hit 61 home runs in 1961. This is his celebration of the records of the 1960 season. So he won the MVP both years. Vern Law was the pitcher of the year, the Cy Young Award winner, at a time when they only awarded to one pitcher in all of baseball. And of course, he was on the world champion Pittsburgh Pirates. Pete Runnels won the batting title in 1960 in the American League, and Dick Groat won it in the National League. Ernie Banks Dick Groat also won the MVP in the National League. So that's the 1960 season, 1961 book. 1962, Whitey Ford, again, we're talking about the 1961 season. Whitey Ford was 25-4 in 1962. Frank Robinson was the National League Most Valuable Player. Roberto Clemente was the National League Batting Champion in 1961. Norm Cash was the American League Batting Champion in 1961. And of course, the National League Most Valuable Player was Frank Robinson. So that's what we have. 1961 was the great home run race, eventually won by Roger Maris with 61 home runs, just edging out Mickey Mantle, who had 54 home runs that season. And it's interesting to compare Roger's numbers against Mickey. Roger hit for a batting average of 269. Mantle, I believe, hit something like 317 that year, 315, or I don't know the exact number, but it was significantly over 300. Mantle led the league in runs scored. Now, Mantle batted third in the lineup, so he scored a lot of times on those 61 home runs that Roger hit. But Roger didn't score many times for any of Mantle's 54. So Roger got the RBIs and Mantle got the runs scored. But in any case, they were both instrumental. It was a toss-up, and 61 home runs is certainly a big deal. So you got to give the nod to Roger. So that's it for the '62 season. This is the last year in which the cover price is 50 cents because they raised it to 60 cents in 1963. Don Drysdale again on the cover, um, and so that's his second cover. Um, I suspect again that he probably won the Cy Young Award, but I'm not 100% sure of that. Harmon Killebrew was the home run and RBI leader in the American League in 1962 with the Minnesota Twins. Let's just see what his stat line was. Yeah, Killebrew. 48 home runs, 126 RBIs, batted 243. Uh, those were Rogers' stat lines, or Harmon's stat lines. Mickey Mantle, most valuable player in the American League in 1962. Maury Wills was the MVP in 1962 in the National League, in a season where he stole 104 bases, eclipsing the record formerly held by Ty Cobb. So that's the last of my run of Who's Who's going back to 1930. The last one that I have to show you is the 2013 Who's Who, and you will note that the uh, purchase price has increased significantly to $9.95, which is a staggering increase. But that shows you what happened in inflation over those 50 years. So let's zoom back out and we'll get that's good enough. Oddly enough, this was Miguel Cabrera's Triple Crown season, which is commemorated on the front cover with the Triple Crown symbol for 2012. We got a lot more small photographs now. David Price won the AL Cy Young Award. R.A. Dickey won the National League Cy Young Award. Buster Posey was the MVP. Jared Weaver won 20 games. Ryan Brown led the National League in home runs. And we go back to the team photograph of the world champion San Francisco Giants in 2012. Mike Trout was Rookie of the Year in the American League. Bryce Harper in the National League. Most valuable players. They don't. Well, we know that Miguel Cabrera was the most valuable player in the American League with Detroit on the heels of winning those championships. NL MVP was Buster Posey. So that's pretty interesting. This was the 98th consecutive year publishing Who's Who. And that's when they started out. in 1930, there were records of a little over 200 Major League Baseball players. Of course, there were only 16 teams. So, whereas in 2013, there were 30 teams, almost twice as many, and over 775 players. I don't think there are other photographs. Yeah, no. There are a lot of photographs, little floating head shots, but I think we've been over. So that's really it for Who's Who. I may try to add a few more of those to close out the 60s, and we'll see how that goes. So, with all of that in mind, I'm going to sign off and let you know that this is Rocket Rick J18 and celebrating New Year's Day today and wishing that all your collecting dreams for 2024 come true, including mine. So take care. Have a great year.